Okay, students, a hearty welcome to my next module. We are going to continue with the chapter Sets and Relationships. I hope that you have seen my previous module and you have revised what I have taught, like operations, then types of sets, operations on sets, and the different properties related to it, okay, union, intersection, and all such things. I hope that you have studied, you have revised. It is very important that you keep those things in your mind and then proceed further. Otherwise, you will not understand anything. Okay, so if you have not done it, I'll give you the link of my previous video in my description box. You can go through it, you can check it, and then you can come back to this module. Okay, so let us proceed. In this module, I am going to begin with De Morgan's law. Okay, it was a favorite question of all the teachers. They used to ask this in an examination, prove De Morgan's law. So let us see this. There are two De Morgan's laws that you need to prove. I have shown one, and second one I am going to keep up for you all students. You can try, and if you find any doubt, you can please leave a comment and I will solve it for you. Okay, so you can see, let us begin with this De Morgan's law. Okay, so for any two sets A and B, say first one, A union B complement is equal to A complement intersection B complement. Okay, so De Morgan's law say that if there are any two sets like A and B, then A union B and its complement will be equal to A complement intersection B complement. And same way, second is that A intersection B complement will be equal to A complement union B complement. Okay, so as I said, I have verified first one for you all to understand, second one is up to you. Verify the above laws by taking, they have given sets, universal set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A set is 1, 3, 4 and B set is 4 and 5. Okay, so let us see this, let us verify this first law, okay, which says A union B complement is equal to A complement intersection B complement. Okay, so first we'll take LHS, that is A union B complement, but for that first I should know A union B, right? So first we will find A union B. What it will be? All these elements, that is 1, 3, 4 and 5, okay, from A and B. Now let us take complement of this. What will be complement? Complement means all those elements which are there in universal but does not belong to this set, A union B set. Now which is that element? See, 1 is there, 2 is not there, so 2 will come, 3 is there, 4 is there, 5 is there. Okay, so what will be the complement? Only 2, singleton set, right? Okay, now let us take RHS. Let us mark this one and take RHS, A complement intersection B complement. Now for this you should first know what is A complement. A complement will be all those elements which are there in universal but not in A. Okay, so 2 and 5, right? Now let us see B complement. B complement will be 1, 2, 3 and not 4 and 5. So only 1, 2 and 3. Now intersection. Intersection means only the common elements from these two. What it will be? By now you have guessed, 2, right? So it is 2. Let us mark this 2. So from 1 and 2, what can we say? The law is proved. Okay, the law is verified. So again I am telling you that the second one is up to you. Try to do it using this sets only, universal set, A set and B set. Try to do it. If you are not able to do it, just leave it a comment and I will solve for you. Let us proceed further to see difference of sets. Okay, what is difference of sets? Understand, this is very important. see, difference of set A and set B is the set of elements which are in A but not in B, and is denoted by A minus B or A intersection B complement. Okay, generally difference is denoted by A minus B, or in the other ways it is A intersection B complement. Okay, means what? See, the element, if you are subtracting like this, A minus B, difference you are showing, A minus B, then the element should be from A, but the element should not be in B. Okay, so thus what can we write in set builder form? A minus B is the set of all such x such that x belongs to A but x does not belong to B. Here it should be does not belong to B. Okay, please see to this correction. Okay, it is does not belong to B. Similarly, if you are taking B minus A, then it is the set of all such y which belongs to, where y belongs to B and it is not in A. Okay, it is not in A. Y doesn't belong to A. Okay, kindly understand this. And difference, kindly take note of this and see this. A minus B is always subset of A and B minus A is also subset of B. Why? Because see, I have already told you that A minus B will be consisting all such x which are in A. Okay, so if they are in A, this set has to be subset of A. And if in the second one where you are doing B minus A, then all elements should be from set B. Then it is the subset of B. Okay, yes. Second one, the set A minus B, A intersection B and B minus A are mutually disjoint sets. That is, the intersection of any of these sets is the null or empty sets. They are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets means there is nothing that has been commonly you can talk about these two sets, these three sets together. Okay, so they are called as disjoint sets. Okay, you can verify this with the help of an example. In my previous modules, I have already shown you how to verify. If you have doubt in any of this property or any of this note, you can always take some examples already given in your textbooks. Also, you can take it, universal set, A set, B set, all these sets are already given. So, in this module, I'm not going to explain you with the help of an example. Why? Because I want you to try it out. See, this sets seems to be very easy, but unless and until you yourself try it, it will not be easy for you. Okay, so I want you all to try it. Taking any of the examples, you can surely get the results verified. Okay, let us see the next one, third one. A minus B is equal to A intersection B complement, and same way B minus A is equal to A complement intersection B complement. They have just written it in different way. Okay, next is A union B is equal to A minus B union A intersection B union B minus A. Okay, so if you want to find A union B, you can find even using this difference of sets, that is A minus B union A intersection B union B minus A. Okay, it is one and the same. Fifth one, A minus B union B minus A. Okay, do remember this. This is very, it is not asked too much, but this is very important for you all to understand. Very important for you all to remember. See, A minus B union B minus A is it is symmetric difference of A and B. This is how symbolically it is represented, that these are symmetrically different sets of each other. Okay, So do remember this triangle in between means that A and B are symmetric difference. It is denoted as symmetric difference of the sets A and B. Okay, do remember. And what is it actually? If you find the set A minus B union with B minus A, then you get symmetric difference. Okay, fine. Let us see with the help of an example. See, if A and B, these are the sets given to us, then A minus B will be what? All these elements which are in A but not in B. So A minus B, see A, 4 is not there, 3 is of B, so you are not going to take. You are only going to consider from A which are the elements which are not there in B. Okay, so 4 is not there and 7 is not there. Okay, so 4 and 7 is the set of A minus B. Same way B minus A. B minus A means you are going to see all those elements which are there in B but not in A. So which are those elements? 3 and 5 is there, 6 is there, 8 is only for B. So sorry, 8 is there, 4 is only for B, but we are not going to take. 4 is only for A, sorry. 4 is only for A, it is not there in B, so we are not going to take. Why? Because we are considering B minus A. So 3 and 9. Okay. So now, symmetric difference of set A and B will be equal to what? A minus B union with B minus A. So what is the union of these two? All these numbers, 3, 4, 9, 7 or 3, 4, 7, 9. Okay. So this is how you find symmetric difference of two sets. Okay. Fine. Let us understand the properties. I am just going to go through it. You are supposed to verify, and please do leave a comment that yes, you have verified all these properties by your own. Okay. So first one, symmetric difference of two sets A and B is equal to A union B minus A intersection B. Verify and see. Take examples, take sets and just try to check it. Okay. Second one, symmetric difference of the similar set is always a empty set. Then symmetric difference of an empty set with a set is always the set. If symmetric difference of A and B is equal to symmetric difference of B and A, this is true. Okay, this is always true. Then symmetric difference of A and B is always equal to symmetric difference of B and A. This is true. Okay. Then next one is A intersection with symmetric difference of sets B and C is equal to A intersection B symmetric difference with A intersection C. Sorry, here it should be C. Here it should be C. Okay, kindly understand this and make changes accordingly, that this is A intersection B with symmetric difference of A intersection C. Okay, fine. I hope this is clear to you. Let us see the next one. Properties of cardinality of sets. First one, I hope you remember cardinality of sets. Okay, yes, number of elements, representation with n of. I hope you remember. If not, please go to my previous module. Okay. See this, number of elements of A union B, this set, is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. You can verify this. Okay. It is asked somewhere in the paper also, question papers, teachers do ask this question, that verify for the given sets. This is true. This is one of the property of cardinality of sets. Okay. Second one, if when A and B are disjoint sets, then number of elements of A union B will be equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B. Why? Because they are disjoint sets, so their intersection must be 0, must be an empty set. Number of elements of the empty sets are 0. Therefore, this is true when the two sets are disjoints. Okay. Third one, number of elements of A intersection B complement plus number of elements of A intersection B is always equal to number of elements of set A. Okay, do verify. Next one, number of elements of A intersection B plus number of elements of A intersection B is equal to number of elements of set B. Okay, try to do it. See, it is very easy for me to take an example, type it down and just tell you that yeah, ho gaya, verify ho gaya. But no, I want you all to try it once. Okay, number of elements of A intersection B complement plus number of elements of A intersection B plus number of elements of A complement intersection B is always equal to number of elements of A union B set. Okay. Next one, for any sets A, B and C, number of elements of A union B union C is always equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B plus number of elements of C minus number of elements of A intersection B minus number of elements of B intersection C and number of elements of A intersection C plus number of elements of A intersection B intersection C. Verify for yourself. For seventh one is this, number of elements of A is equal to M. Suppose this is true, then number of elements of power of A will be equal to 2 raised to M, where power of A is the power set of A. I hope you remember this. If not, just verify this for yourself. I am expecting the students to do this. Okay. Next one, number of elements of the difference of two sets A and B is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus twice number of elements of A intersection B. Now, let us see this new next topic, that is intervals. Okay, what are intervals? These are important. Why? Because in maths, we represent everything with the help of a symbol, different kinds of symbols and different kinds of operations between them. Okay, so these intervals are also, see, I hope you remember your graphs and all. You used to write like this, no? Graph with the curved brackets. In that you used to write x value and y value. This is what the intersection point is, on all those things. Okay, so it has got some meaning. Why always like this? Then when you solve examples of a using Bodmas rules, and there are different kinds of brackets, if you all remember, different kinds of brackets. Okay, so why those different kinds of brackets? There are reason behind this. Okay, so I hope that will be clear once you study these intervals. So first one is open interval. What does that mean? See, let A and B belongs to real number. Okay, this is belongs to these numbers. Say these are A and B are some real numbers. Okay, and A is less than B, then the set X such that X belongs to R and X lies between A and B is called open interval and is denoted by, see the denotation, see these are small brackets with A and B. Okay, all the numbers between A and B belong to the open interval. These are called as open interval A and B, but A and B themselves do not belong to this interval. Do not belong to this interval. Understand, we are talking about, see, X is greater than A but less than B. Okay, greater than A but less than B. So it is all the numbers that is lying between A and B, all the real numbers, right? So this is called an open interval. We are talking about some X, we don't know what is that X, but it is between A and B. So you write like this, open interval you write like this, where A and B are not included. Okay, but all the numbers that are between A and B, it is included. Okay, so let us see with the help of a diagram. See, this is a real number. A is here, suppose B is here and X is somewhere here. Okay, so this is how you represent. Therefore, okay, same thing. I hope this is clear, open interval. Let us see the second one, that is closed interval. Let A and B, again I missed that symbol, A and B belongs to R. Suppose A and B are some real numbers, okay? And A is less than B, then the set, now see here the difference. It is X is greater than or equal to A but less than or equal to B, okay, is called closed interval. Why? Now because A and B are also included and it is denoted by the square brackets, okay. Along the numbers between A and B belongs to the closed interval A and B. A and B are also in this interval. They are included in this interval, okay. So when you have like this, it is represented. This is, I suppose, I will make a change here so that you all also understand. This is greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So what will be the change here? It should be like this, square bracket, okay, it should be square bracket. So therefore, closed interval A and B, including A and B, is represented like this, okay. Do remember this. Let us proceed further. Semi-closed interval, okay. What is semi-closed interval? See like this. Means A is included but B is not included. I think, no, I don't think that in your textbook there is a kind of definition given to this, so it has not been included. Semi-closed interval is not included, so there is no definition, but understand what it will be. It will be like, this is the set containing of X such that X belongs to R, where X is greater than or equal to A, and this line is not there. This is not there. Kindly understand this. So X is less than B, only less than B, but it is greater than or equal to A. It means that A is included in the set but B is not included in the set. See, with the help of the diagram we can see this. Okay, I hope this is clear. A belongs to this set but B doesn't belong to this set. Now let us see the semi-open interval. Semi-open interval means what? Now A is not included but B is included. See, it is the set of all such X such that X belongs to set of real numbers where X is greater than A and less than or equal to B. Means B is included, A is not included. Okay, but B includes. Okay, so A does not belong but B belongs to. This is called semi-open interval. Okay, let us see the next one, fifth one. First one, the set of all real numbers greater than A, that is A and all the infinity, till infinity, all are greater than A. Then it is the set of all such X such that X belongs to R and X is greater than A. Means A is not included, and infinity we can't define infinity till what we have to take. So this is open bracket. Okay, yes. So A and this is included. Second one, the set of all real numbers greater than or equal to A, greater than or equal to A will be like this, where A is included but infinity we can't, so A is with the square bracket. Understood? Fine. Let us see next one, sixth one. The set of all real numbers less than B, less than B. Okay, to understand means negative numbers less than B. So open infinity we can't, and it is less than B, so this is kept in open bracket, is the set of all such X such that X belongs to real numbers and X is less than B. Okay, and the set of all real numbers less than or equal to B will come in the close bracket from one side. Okay, so like this way is the representation, and X such that X belongs to R, where X is less than or equal to B. I hope this is clear. This is just a representation which you will require further how to represent a set, okay? So if your handwriting is not good, please make it good so that at least the sets are differently represented. For what you are writing, it is understood, okay? So these are different kinds of representation for different kinds of sets, okay? So please improve your handwriting, and let us see the next one. The set of all real numbers R is minus infinity to infinity, positive infinity. Why? All the numbers are included in real numbers, okay? And cannot be represented as a closed bracket. So it is always open bracket, and it is the set of all such x where x belongs to real numbers and x lies between negative numbers and positive numbers. Okay, fine. Now let us see the rules of inequality of real numbers. Okay, inequality of real numbers. Understand? If a is greater than 0 but less than b and k is greater than 0, then a plus or minus k will always be less than b plus or minus k. Or if I multiply like this, k into a will be always less than k into b, or a raised to k less than b raised to k. You can verify. See, you can take any number, say a is say 2 and b is say 3. Okay, suppose a is 2. I'll write and just tell you. Suppose a, you take it as 2 and b you take it as 3. Okay, this you take it. Now, what is given? And say k you take it as 1. For this example, you can take any. I am taking 1. Simple one so that you all understand. K is 1. So what will happen here? 2 plus k, 1. 2 plus 1. What is it? 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. And here 3 plus 1 will be 4. Right? For b, 3 plus 1. And it will always be less. Same way, 2 into 1 will be 2. And 3 into 1 will be 3. Less. Then a raised to 2 will always be less than 3. A raised to, that is 2 raised to 1 will always be less than 3 raised to 1. Okay. So this is what they are saying here. This is property of inequality. Okay. Next one. If a is greater than 0 but less than b and k is less than 0, then less than 0, negative number. Understand? K into a will be greater than k into b, and suppose I take like this, say k is minus 1, a is 2, b is 3, right? Now minus 1 into 2, that gives you minus 2, is always greater than minus 3. Minus 2 is greater than minus 3? Yes. Same way here. You raise it, 2 raised to minus 1 and 3 raised to minus 1. 2 raised to minus 1 will be greater than 3 raised to minus 1? Yes. So this is what the properties of inequality. These are the rules of inequality of real numbers. Okay. So I hope that this module is clear to you. If not, see, unless and until you try it yourself, you verify the properties yourself and try to remember all these things, it will not be easy for you. Only practice is going to help you, and we are going to continue to do practice by solving examples from the textbooks, as well as if I find some extra examples that I can give you, I'll surely make a module of it. And I'll meet you now in the next module. I think we are going to solve examples. Yes, we are going to solve examples in the next module from textbooks. Whichever textbook I get, I'm going to try to solve examples from that, and we'll see you in the next module. Thank you.